Hey, what is up, you all? How you doing? It is MJ, and welcome to the Professor is in. Looking forward to getting into this. Of course, as always, well, not as always, I am still getting used to this new platform, and I don't think that we are live on IG, which is no biggie. We'll get it together and keep it rolling. I was definitely looking forward to having it there. So I do not know what happened. And if you look at this thing, it's almost like my computer froze up when I tried to take it live, and then it clicked off and all this other stuff. So these things happen. And I'm wondering, like, is it doing that? Nah, it's not gonna work. Sometimes you have to do what we're talking about today and let things go. But thank you for joining me today. I'm having a ball doing this, and just been having a bunch of fun doing the professors. And this is an extension of the Flow podcast with Marcus Johnson, and it's my purpose and my passion and the things that I've been doing in life. Where whether it's teaching at Howard University or some other places. I've been able to get out and kind of share my experiences, the successes and the failures, helping people to do the things that and focus on things that they, can change, and to let go of the things that they can't, like, letting go of not being on IG today. I'll figure it out. And if you saw this whole hodgepodge of the stuff that I'm working on, you'd be like, dang, MJ. But I'm excited because I'm actually I'm figuring so much of all this stuff out, and it's actually fun, and it allows me to do what I do. So I hope you all are excited about what's going on, and know that we are, just having a ball doing this with you. Today we're talking about the whole idea of reflection and reflection without judgment. Elle came on today and she was like, MJ, a lot of people get towards the end of the year and they think about the idea of the New Year's resolutions and how they didn't or did come true. And what we thought we'd talk about today is that, and making sure you're looking at these things in the positive way. Now, if you understand me and where I come from, I teach from a perspective called the Deeper model, and it's DEEPER. And deeper means dream, engage environment, plan, execute, and reflect. And this would be the reflection phase of the year. If you just go by the fiscal year, hopefully in the beginning of the year you had your dream, which is your resolution. Then you were engaged in it. You knew what you needed to do to make it happen, and you ended up making that happen. Then you decided, I'm going to check and see the environment that I have around me to effectuate the change here so that I can do the things that I need to do and make the changes that I need to make. And that's the second E. Then you had a plan for it that was written, because no plan that is written is really a plan. If your plan isn't written, it is a dream. And that is something that, I just totally believe in. And, but, I just think about the amount of times I've been on my way somewhere and forgotten it. You need to have a plan. It needs to be written, and it needs to be something that you understand so that you can make the changes and actually abide by it, follow the steps, follow the systems, follow the procedures. After that, you go in the deep part. The E is execute. And you do that any way that you can. Execution is personal, and it's one of the enduring kind of competitive advantages that some of us have over others. How you might play, for me, how I play music, how I pull things together, with my music and speaking and teaching and, things like that. It's fun, right? So it is executing, putting all my weapons together so that I can follow the steps in my plan, working with my environment for the goal that I'm engaged in. So the cycle works both ways of going deeper. And then R is, the reflection component of it. And one of the things, one of our core truths, and what's up, Craig? Appreciate you. One of the core components of what we're looking at in reflection is the whole idea of, you know, reflection isn't about it's not about grading your life. It's about witnessing it. It's actually, the whole idea of being honest, being compassionate, being endearing with yourself, and taking a step back to pay homage to yourself. That, hey, look, we no matter what we did, right? No matter what we did, how we did it, we got through it. And it is now, December 17th of 2025. Whatever you needed to do, the steps you needed to take to get to where we are right now, you were able to make them happen. And that should be kind of exciting for you. Now, some of us have, regrets. For other people, this is not the happiest time of the year. It can be very reflective, it can be very heavy. Um, for some of us, it's the idea of what didn't work out. Look at all the things. It's another year of the dreams that I put out there, and they didn't come true. We weren't able to, to reach them. And in this reflection phase, it's kind of setting you up for the next part of the dream phase, because we believe that life is not linear. It's not, well, here's the dream part of my life and here's the reflection part of my life. And then, I die and I go to heaven. Some of us, who knows, right? And I'm just being funny there. But life is actually cyclical, and it's dream, engage, environment, plan, execute, reflect, and then you dream again, and you engage, and you have a good environment. You plan, execute, reflect, and it goes again, and it's a cycle, and it's a positive cycle, and it keeps on, hopefully working virtuously for you. So, in that, even when it's heavy, it's like being in the gym. It's hard, man. When you're lifting heavy weights, that's when the real work is being done. When you're sore, like I did leg day the other day before I got in the car on my way down to Charlotte last week. And man, by the time we got to Charlotte, I did legs the day before. By the time we got to Charlotte, I was completely sore. Trying to get in and out of my car was in and of itself, it was very difficult. But that's cool because I know that it's hard. It's heavy. The weight that I was lifting was heavy. And even if it's not heavy for you, it was heavy for me. And the process is, and then it hurts, but then it doesn't. But you still have to stick in it. And I worked out the next day, and I worked out the day after that. I gave my legs a break, et cetera, et cetera. So everything that is about the positivity of our life is about systems and processes. And if you can put those down on paper or think about them ahead of time, when you get to the reflective stage, you understand some years are going to be better than others. Some months are going to be better than others. Some relationships are going to be better than others. This is just a time for you to give yourself a form or as much radical compassion as you can, so that you can go on to the next dream phase of it, man. That's what we do. We have to do that to have fun. Um, when we're doing this, we're gonna go with a few kind of we're gonna go with a few ground rules. Number one, no judgment. Like, this is you and you. There's no judgment. And I'll get to something in a second, which is kind of scary. Almost, I get when I talk about my daughter, I get a little emotional sometimes. Like at Cinderella a couple weeks ago, I was kind of really emotional. Like, wow, that's my baby girl. Wow, right? And I used to not understand when fathers cried for their daughters or whatever. But you see it happening. So number one, anyway, we'll get to no judgment, and I'll make that relevant in a second. No comparison. My dad, before he got out of here, my dad said, "Son, if you compare, you despair." And I tell you, every time I have tried to compare myself with somebody else or something else, I've despaired. And I have another option for you. Instead of comparing yourself, just be proud in who you are and how you effectuate change in the world. That's what matters, right? Not what somebody else does. I mean, there's so many things I could do. I could look at Stephen Bartlett, little young guy, worth almost $1 billion doing podcasts, no law degree, no MBA, talking to people, started this podcast, doing whatever. And I'm not here to promote his podcast, which is good, by the way. It is to say I'm not in competition with him. Number one, he's a giant, right? I have all that other stuff in common. That doesn't make me anything except a dude who's starting off his journey and talking to my fans and supporters and people on this planet with which I coexist and to make it better. I don't need to compare myself. And when I used to compare myself with other piano players, say like an Alex Bugnan or Brian Culbertson or Bobby Lyle or Nathan Mitchell and these guys, you get to a place where you're like it's unfair. Why would I be unfair to myself? I don't know what they went through. I don't know if they're super happy or not. I don't know, if I would be willing to do what they did to play the way that they did. And by the way, God happened to make me uniquely me. How about that? And when you recognize in the mirror every day that I am 100% me, there is nobody else like me on the planet. No one. My marketing guy is like, look, kid, I know you like talking and doing all this stuff as it relates to, podcasting and writing books and teaching. He's like, but Marcus, there's only one thing that you can do that nobody else, not any other billions of people on the planet can do. And that's play like Marcus Johnson. Because the only person that can do that authentically is you. And it made me stop and think, well, how do I need to apply that in other parts of my life? So, no judgment, no comparison. And this one is a big one. No rushing to fix. No rushing to fix. And I would say no rushing to refine almost, right? Because you're not broken even if you didn't realize your resolutions. Like, this is life. We're human beings. This is about being. This is not about like anything else other than being yourself, man. Which, by the way, you get to define. And that's what I was talking to my daughter about earlier today, man. She is in a very interesting place in her life. And I know everybody's like, she's 13, get ready. Oh, I'm getting ready and I'm seeing it, front forward, right? And, getting in the car and, I'm having to deal with, and if you've seen pictures of her, she's beautiful, dealing with pictures, dealing with her and the idea of comparison, judgment. I'm not as smart as everybody else. I'm not as beautiful. I don't even want to eat my lunch. And there's some things that, I'm sure some mothers would say and fathers would say too about like, well, where do you have her in school and why is she saying these things? And trust me, I battle that battle, and I do what I can. In the meantime, I can advocate for Chase, advocating for Chase. And so, but to see someone that you love in anguish because they can't see the beauty that you see right in front of you, and it's there. Like, I know this chick is awesome. I know chicks I went to school with, and I say, chick, that's our thing. It's just a me thing. But like, I know people that aren't dope, right? And she's not that. I'm like, Chase, you have to understand too that like, think about why they're doing this. I'm smart enough to know that I can't tell her, oh, well, you know, I said, I'm smart enough to know that I can't think that me telling her how beautiful she is, which I do regularly, and how smart she is while I do that regularly, is going to rush to fix it in 2 seconds. That's unfair. This kid goes to school every day and deals with the things that she deals with every day. You go to work every day and deal with the things you deal with every day. You may be at home and have to deal with the things that you deal with and the people, places, things, and ideas that you deal with, every day. So I'm smart enough to know that what I say here is nothing more than a catalyst or an impetus. I just use it as an impetus to say, like, Marcus told me it's in my hands. Because at a point I got to Chase today and I was like, baby, I just need you to, I just need you, I need you to give you a break, right? And I need you to define you. And for at the age of 13, a 13-year-old is looking at you like, what does that mean? Like, well, you know, you define yourself by the things that you do. Let's talk about some of the things that you've done. Let's get real objective. Well, I'm not doing good in math. okay, at some point in time, everybody didn't do, well in math. And for those that did, that doesn't matter because we don't compare. That's one of our ground rules. Going into 2026, we are not comparing ourselves to anybody else, right? So if you can't compare yourself, well, how do you feel about yourself? I and like to hear these things that I'm hearing, I'm saying to myself, am I missing something? You know what I mean? And I'm trying to do I'm trying to do all I can to make sure that my baby knows, like, you got this. It's like she's like, I have a science test tomorrow, and da 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 da. And I was like, well, is that the real issue in my head, right? That is that the real issue going on here? Is she stressed out about that? And I said, get a D, go for it, right? You were just Cinderella, and you were practicing until 6:30 and 7 o'clock every night, right? I understand what that is. Your pathway might be different than someone else's to change the world. Note to each of us. Note to each one of you all. Your path is absolutely different than someone else's because you're you. It's inherent in the idea that this is your life. So if it's inherently different, then it's perfectly yours, and you have the ability, you have the ability to define who you are. Do you understand that? Like, you have the ability to define who you are each and every single day. You have the ability to define how much of a powerhouse you are. Well, Marcus, I don't understand this. So, what did I do? Dad, I don't understand this. Cool. Let's go up. Let's get on the computer. Let's use the technology, thank God, that is available to us right now. And you need to understand cellular respiration. And I had to go back through just before I did this glucose and cellular respiration in a plant that leads to photosynthesis, that then leads to photosynthesis and cellular respiration. Like, I won't remember that stuff in a couple, maybe I will, but I won't be able to pass the test for. But we have the technology now, baby, where you can jump in and do this. And the same for you. Use tools like Notebook LM. And it's like, well, Marcus, if I go to Notebook LM, what am I going to do? What do you want to learn today? Remember that Microsoft commercial where they play Earth, Wind, and Fire? Where do we go today? Use your technology, go to Notebook LM, and go to the sources section. Create a new notebook, number one. Sources, copy text. Well, what text am I going to copy? Well, you're not really going to copy it. Why don't you just write it in or talk it in? Right? This is what I want to be. This is what I want to look like at the end of the first quarter of 2026. Can you help me learn this? Can you help me develop this? Can you help me with a workout program that we're not going to tell anybody else about? Hey, I then went and got a web address and put it in here too, um, for a workout program or something like that, or an educational program, or I need to practice for this professional certification. And then you go to the other side of it, which is the media, and it will print out the flashcards that it just did for Chase before I came downstairs. And I know she thinks I'm crazy, but hopefully, if I'm crazy enough to put this stuff in her head, she too will become crazy, crazy enough to know they put this in an email, they put this in a resource for me to be able to go and use Notebook LM or Claude or ChatGPT or Gemini, whatever the name is. If you go in there and say, look, honestly, have an issue. I need to be vulnerable with you, and I'm scared. I'm scared that I don't feel the way that I should. Right? I need to I need to beef up on my math. Now, am I telling you to put it all in this? No, because you're the driver, and you're 100% perfectly you. I don't care if you're overweight. I don't care if you're unhealthy. I don't care if you do unhealthy things. I don't care, like, any of that stuff. It doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is that I need to make sure that you know that that makes you perfectly you. Now, there are consequences, all of us, Chase, y'all, to how we live and the things that we do. So if you don't take care of yourself, right, you could be on your way to a heart attack or a stroke. And I lived that life intimately with my mom, who had a stroke at 44. And a dad who died, my dad died at 74 years of age. That's not right. Other things, there were some other things that were going on there. There are consequences to the way we live our life. There are consequences to the cortisol levels that we keep elevated with all of the living in stress, fear, flight. What's the other one? Freeze. Sorry, right? So when if you're sitting in that cycle, that's not doing you any good. That is leading you to prolonged levels of high cortisol, which then end up having a negative effect on your brain, on your respiratory system, speaking of respiration, on your cardiac system, circulatory system, your pulmonary system, right? Your nervous system. You know it. You know it. So I don't have to tell you about the consequences. You can tell me any excuse you want to. I'm going to listen because I don't have judgment on you. But I might just tell you, like, how's that working for you? And if you know me, if you're a friend of mine or anything like that, you know that is my claim to fame. How is that working for you? And if it's not working for you, then you need to pack light and let it go. Or else your plane is going to crash. You're going to crash. Well, how do I do it? That's the deeper model. That's the whole part of this. Now, like I said, we are not in a rush to fix or refine you right now. Basically, what we're looking at is what happened in January, what happened in March, what happened in April, what happened in July, what worked. Let's start there. Because with the human negative bias, a lot of people are just coming from the standpoint of like, look, what did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? How did I live my life? I messed this up. I'm embarrassed about this. I'm anxious about this, etc., etc., etc. Anger, things that happened in the past. Anxiety, things that happen in the future. I have something for you. What about right now in the present? Knowing that you can't change the past and you really don't have that much of an effect on the outside things in the future. But if you can focus on you right now, everything is friggin' possible. What about that? And when you go back through that reflection phase, you get to where you are right now today. And then you start looking at like, okay, well, let me put together a plan. Let me sit back and say like, okay, let me get my calendar together. Let me look at where I went out to eat. Let me look at what I ate. Let me look at the amount of days that I worked out this year. Let me look at the days that I got 7 to 9 hours of sleep like I should. Let me look at the amount of days that I didn't. Oh, I don't have that information. Maybe I should get a Fitbit because it's very important. Your sleep and your rest is tied to your success, meaning living. I'm not talking about like monetary success. I'm talking about being able to get up tomorrow and the next day and for years to come. Sleep is a very important part of that. What did I hold on to that I needed to let go of? Huh. I trust me. I get to record these and I'm going to go back over them so that I can look at it and be like, huh, what did I hold on to? Right? Mel Robbins has this book now that is called Let Them. I was having a conversation with one of my friends the other day in one of the cities, and like, let them. Like, if they don't like you, let them. If they don't want to hang with you, let them. If they have other things that are in the way of, you all doing business or falling in love or I say besides taking care of my daughter, I do whatever I can so I can let me do that. But like if people are having these things, people hating on you at work, right? Let them. But then you have to let them in order to let you. You let them go. Let them be them. Knowing that by not comparing and not judging yourself, that you can get wherever you want to go. In my book, I talk about, I forget which chapter. This is my book, For the Love of Living the Journey of Life with Intention, Love, Passion, and Happiness. And I talk about the fact that we are the most incredible judges and juries of ourselves, man. Right? Where a deer gets chased by a lion or an antelope, and then 10 seconds later is good because that's how they've evolved to be able to survive. They have to shake off their stress, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. you know um like, they're able to let that stuff go, whereas humans, we do something or did something 30 years ago, maybe 40 years ago, depending upon how old you are. If you're 60, maybe 55 years ago, you did something. And you know what you did. And you are judging you. Oh my God, I can't believe I did that. You mean when you were 5 years old? And the way that we've been structured so that we can develop wisdom and we have memory so that we know where to go. We're a little less, we're a little more fragile than other beings. We're a little slower than other beings. They can run away. So we develop different things in order to survive, right? Part of that is memory. Don't go over there, shorty, because you will fall off. You will fall off that cliff. But then we beat ourselves up for something we did when we were 5 or 8 or 10 or 20 or yesterday. What is that? That is, to me, I think that that is the most pervasive form of domestic violence that goes on every day. We get in our houses, excuse me, in our homes, and we beat the hell out of ourselves. Get that ass over here. Pop, 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 pop. And that might be funny. I mean, they want to get a little smile out of you, right? But like, you know what I mean. You just won a court case. You just got a business deal. You get home. I don't have anybody to celebrate, but I must not be. No, you did the deal. That's a win in the win column, man. Get that piece of paper out. This is the win column. That's what we're doing right now in December, getting ready to go into January. This is my win column, shawty. Wait a minute. And if, honestly, all you did was get to December 17th, 2025 with your drawers, right? And whatever clothing you have on your back, and that's it. And you're homeless, but you're watching this saying, this is a state of being, right? This is like just a state of being. This is not my mentality, right? This is not my mindset. I am not poor. I'm just in a bad place. If all you did was get here with that, congratulations. I'm totally 100% cool with that. And you need to be cool with that. I didn't say be complacent with it. I said you need to celebrate whatever you did to get you to today. Because congratulations, you have beat every single odd to be here, period. I was watching a podcast, or not podcast, but a post earlier today where it talked about the fact somebody was like, your 2 parents and your 4 grandparents and your 8, great grandparents. And so, like, all the people that had to get together over just the past, like, 200 years in order for you to be here today. Not to mention, like, all of the things that had to happen from the creation of the earth in order for you to be here today. And you think that's a mistake? You think that there's anything that you should be telling yourself about anything other than, dang, my genes must be awesome, right? Sometimes you have to do the things that make you laugh. I'm dope. Kanye West, right? I'm dope and I do dope shit. Marcus Kanye is crazy. Maybe that we need a little bit of that crazy in our lives in this crazy thing out here that we're dealing in called life. So as you're looking at this, if you got to December 17th, 2025, let me be the first to congratulate you on how friggin' awesome you are. Congratulations, congratulations, congratulations. And I'm going to ask that you give yourself that same celebratory nature, that same love, acceptance, compassion, attention to be like, yo, look, I did this, man. I got this. And if I made it this far, guess what you can do? Oh wait, I know y'all are in there in the chats. If you made it this far, guess what else you can do? Keep on stepping. That to me, man, that's like that's kind of we could be like, okay, time to go home. you know, we're not. As I said, like most people think about the whole idea of like what I did, how I messed up. Why am I behind is a good one that I came up with, and why didn't I do more? But the whole idea of redefining yourself is the idea that you can reframe these questions into things that actually work for you. Like reflection is not a trial. You're not on anyone's stand except that you thing that I talked about that we're going to work on over time. You being on your own stand, right? You are a witness being grilled on your own stand by you. I mean, if I may, let that shit go. You should be the number one person talking about how dope you are. Marcus, that's arrogant. Maybe I'm dope. You can say, and you ask most people, they'll say Marcus doesn't have a problem with confidence. You just don't know. But one thing I do know is I am 1,000%, 100% Marcus Johnson. And I am cool with that. And I mess some things up. I say this all the time. I owe people, you know what I mean? I owe people time. Same 877 numbers that everybody else gets. We all get them. Let's see what else. What else? Things to pay back. I didn't do what I was supposed to do in the gym today, et cetera, et cetera. I wish I could spend more time with my baby girl, especially during this phase of her life. But I'm trying to balance, doing the things that I love while making sure that she's educated, to a degree that I agreed with for now. And but I'm in internal conflict. It's a conflict. I'm not 100% confident that I'm doing the right thing or that I'm saying the right thing, and I'm listening to her and I'm watching tears and I'm like, okay, I don't know what to do. Wait, the professor doesn't know what to do? No, but I'm going to figure it out because I love my daughter so dopely. How about that? That I'm going to ask who I need to ask. I'm going to, sit back. And when she said, Dad, I just need you. I need you to listen right now. And you know what I did? I was like, okay, time to keep driving. You talk. This is your time, right? I don't have it all together. But the whole idea of like this is not a trial. I'm not. I beat myself up enough. I've been the dude who's been like walking the door, not even in the door at night. Man, I tell people to do things that make you smile between the time when you close your eyes and when you go to sleep, because that's when you're dealing with you. That is real, man. Because when you can have somebody, your significant other, sitting right next to you, laying right next to you, man. You close your eyes and you get in that phase about going to sleep right before, and you know what I'm talking about. And you're like, oh my God, oh my goodness, it's me. I'm beating myself up, whooping my behind in the car, on the way to work, on the stage sometimes, in business meetings, everything like that. But what you learn is that's just another thing on the side here. You don't let that control you. That's humanity, that's society, that is the collective dysfunction of this world and how we've been taught. We've been taught American history, most of us who graduated from high school, almost 12 years in a row. But we haven't been, taught how to have a cognitively, positively restructuring conversation with ourselves. That's not your fault when you're 5 years old or 8 years old or 15 years old. That's on all of us as parents. That's why we need to get back into the system in the boards of education and be like, yo, why don't you teach my kid resilience, man? Stephen Covey and Sean Covey, Stephen Covey and Franklin did the book Seven Habits of Highly Effective People. And then Sean Covey and his wife and Steve Covey did what's called The Leader in Me, which was the application of the Seven Habits of Highly Effective People into primary school education. And it was amazing. And they're like, well, you have 6 year olds giving tours of the school. Yes. Only in the United States do we not allow our kids to like do things and give them agency. And then you hear parents talk about, well, the executive skills of so and so and study. When did you teach them executive skills? Right? Some of these kids, you don't wash their clothes. Mama wants to be their friend. Daddy wants to be mama's friend. Oh, whatever you want to say, whatever you want to do. Oh, they'll figure it out on their own because this has been a vicious cycle that we need to turn into a virtuous cycle. That's the reflection part of this, man. Right? There's no need to beat yourself up because now we're going back, even with the professors in my book, the TED Talks, everything that we do. This is about, or wherever you go, Chat GPT, I was about to say Nat Geo, but like Gemini, these other resources that you have. This is where you go to use them to get where the information you need is right in at your fingertips right now, so that you can do you. How do you see you? How great are you? How amazing are you? I want to know. I wish I could give you an exam to get back. Adrian is like, I want to, I want to see this right after the January 2nd. I'd love to know how dope you are, Adrian. Shoot, I'll even invite you on the show if you want to. We can talk about it. Like, yo, I was thinking this, but hopefully I've unlocked how dope you are. Craig, how dope you are. Al, how dope you are. Because like that's what all this is about. That's how I'm thinking. I need some soldiers out here that are doing their things in their parts of the world, understanding how friggin' dope you are. Well, Marcus, I don't feel dope. Cool. We're gonna change that one step at a time because there's no rush in this, right? And there's no judgment. And if you feel that way, okay. But I'm going to challenge you to write down on this side the things that you didn't do. And I mean, objectively, go back over your calendar. People think that your budget for your money is the most important spreadsheet that you have in your life, or your financial statements are the most important spreadsheets that you have in your life. The most important spreadsheet that you have in your life is your calendar because it shows what you're really about, how you really rolling. Period. Oh, I did this last week. Cool. Hey, Marcus, I'm into God and my family and this, that, and the other. Show me. Oh, you don't have to show me. Show you. Like I tell Trey, show you. Go to your calendar. Be objective. But you have to put the good stuff there too. Because most of us will be like, well, I didn't get to this and I didn't get to that and I didn't get to this. You got to something because you're here. Even like I said, if getting to October 17th, 2025 is all you needed to do, that's a good, okay. Marcus, I did one thing. I made it. I'm cool with that. Like, there's nothing I can say. And there should be nothing that this voice that's right here or over here or up here or in your tummy or in your hands or whatever, there's nothing that entity should be able to say to you that could convince you that you're doing anything except what you are supposed to do. Well, um, I am going to. I want you all to follow me on something real quick, and a couple of you all here. You can say it silently or aloud, but I want you to say this and carry this with you. What did I carry this year? What did I survive that no one clapped for? Where did I show up, even imperfectly? And then do you understand that each one of those is a win? I'm going to do that again. What did I carry this year? What did I survive that no one clapped for? Where did I show up, even imperfectly? You cannot dream forward if you do not honor yourself and those things that you have accomplished, no matter how big or small, even if it is just getting to December 17th, 2025. That, my friends, is how we go deeper. Well, I went a little long on some things. I got to pay some bills and let y'all see what's going on here. I will be back and we'll go further in the reflection phase, the whole idea of resolutions, etc., and how we are using these and loving on ourselves as we get ready to go into 2026. Give you a little preview of what we're gonna do. Y'all want to hear that? Let's see what we can do here. A little which one is this? Yeah, man. What's up? That's a little MJ for you. Um, so we're talking about resolutions and reflecting and reflection, the reflection component of the deeper model, which is dream, engage, environment, plan, execute, reflect. Part of my book, Flow, and my TED talks, and I speak on it often. From a corporate perspective to a personal perspective to a relationship perspective, both professional and personal and intrapersonal, because I believe that intrapersonal is how we get, where everything really starts from anyway. So, um, a part we don't talk about is grief. And I'm not talking about grief of people, but like grief of scenarios. This year was brutal for some. Being in Washington, D.C., this was brutal, man. You know, people who had jobs that were actually doing things and functioning, losing them because somebody came in and, you know, got on, I almost think AI and put in a prompt and said, if you are probational, you're out. Click, everybody's gone, right? Um, and then we've lost neighbors. We've lost we've lost confidence in this thing that you know that this thing is messing up real quick. Hold on 1 second. Um, that this thing is really selling, right? And what we're talking, like, what's really selling is um, hope. And how do you do that? Like, how do you grieve for hope? That's a scary one. Um, we put it to the side so that we can function. Even though deep down, if we're judging ourselves, right, we're also judging everything else that's out here. And that grief is part of it, is that anger. I cannot believe this is going on right now. And the hurt, I can't believe this is going on right now. I can't believe that just yesterday this was how my life was. I can't believe that just yesterday so and so was living next to us and working next to us, and this restaurant was open. And especially when you then look up and you see other people making billions of dollars, while other people who, for interesting reasons, are no longer with you. That's hard, man. 2025 has been hard from that perspective. Losing faith in the underlying foundational components of your life. That's like, to me, the difference between like a hurricane, a tornado, and let's say a hurricane, a tornado, and an earthquake. And I've been, in all three of those. Hurricanes, they're not fun, right? They're scary, but you have the foundation of the ground. Like, can I get underground? And if all this stuff falls around me, at least I'll be in a bunker. Got it. A tornado, same thing. I can get in a bunker. I can go underground. Got it. Where do you go in an earthquake? And that's literally, we've had like a seismic shift in all the stuff that we've been doing lately. And the main thing is it has shaken the trust in the foundation. Man, I had hope that if I just worked hard enough, that I would be cool. Some people had faith that if I just come here and I'm a good, almost citizen, right? A good permanent resident, that I can provide something positive to this place. I make my kids study. I make them clean. They clean your houses, right? They clean your toilets. They clean your businesses. We're just here, not necessarily just to send money back to another country. We're here to for hope. That is what this place is selling. I think there are people out there right now that just don't care. So you have to care. But to say that you're not feeling grief is BS. That's why when Chase comes to me crying, I'm like, cry on, baby girl. You need to cry anymore? Why would I tell my daughter to stop crying? I don't tell myself to stop crying when I'm out or feeling horrible about a situation. I have to sit in it. You have to go through that process. And man, I tell you, in the reflection phase of things, when you're like, what did I lose? We talked about, what did we say? We said, what did I mess up? Why didn't I do more? Why am I behind? You know, and then like, what did I carry? How did I survive? Where did I show up even imperfectly? What did you lose? And living in a physical world, you actually can lose things, man. Did you lose someone close to you? Did you lose a family member close to you? Did you lose a job that you enjoyed doing? Did you lose a dream about something? That's even more torturous. Like everything else, we can find another job. But the ones that hurt are when you took a chance to dream. I I listened to you, Marcus Johnson, and I was at your concert, and you told me to dream, and I did it, and I worked at it, and I lost it. And the only thing I can tell you in a scenario like that is, I feel for you. I hope you're in the process of getting, through it. Part of which is planning through it for what's coming next. And you made it to December 17th, 2025. Therefore, if you can do that, despite all that hurt, everything you feel in the inside. What's the process to let it go? Because you being angry at life is not doing anything but decreasing your time here. You being angry at someone is, I read it somewhere, it's like basically you're taking the poison and expecting it to kill somebody else. That's what anger is. And the option is to say to yourself, isn't it amazing that I had something that was so awesome that I miss it now? And how do I reclaim that, or reclaim those thoughts, or reclaim those feelings with that particular person, thing, place, idea, so that I can figure out how the next time it'll be even better? Because if I had it, it was not a mistake. If I had it, it was on purpose, and it was the universe's purpose, not to torture me, but to let you know what is possible and how awesome you can feel about something. And if I can feel that awesome about that thing, imagine what I can do when I come back. But going back over here to the first page that we dealt with, there's no rush. But I need to feel better now. No, you need to heal now. Part of the reflection phase is self-care. Because in this running and everything that we've been doing, man, we've been beating ourselves up. Again, like I said, you get in the house, you like, bring that ass over here. Not somebody, you. You doing that to yourself. And then you go and get in these other things that then prove to you, I'm not, yes, shit. I'm not anything. I'm not worth anything. Wait, stop. Can't let you go there. And by the way, you being on this show or at this podcast is part of the environment that you're creating for yourself along with other people, because you can chat to other people, I think, in here. And so, like, this is to be like, yo, that comment is okay. How did you get through it? This is part of your environment. Constructively critical people telling you constructively critical things like, yup, that's dope, and here's why. Nope, that's not dope, and here's why. And I'm telling you, here's why, because I care about you. That to me, that is the environment you want. Not, oh, okay, do whatever you want. Run over me, do whatever you want. I don't care. It doesn't affect me. Whatever that phraseology is that you would use in that situation. That's not it. I'm here to say, what are you doing and what are you going to do in 2026 after your reflection phase to understand that you got to 2026? And because of that, how are you going to honor that? And it's not by doing things that take away from your self-care. It's by doing things that are actually going to put you on the path to all the things that you can do and how awesome you are. And if you need somebody, use Chase or use your niece or nephew or little kid on the street. What would you tell them if they were in your shoes? Well, Marcus, it's not the same. Why isn't it, man? Because nobody told us. I actually had a dad that did. Son, here's how you deal with this thing called life. Let me give you some questions to ask yourself when you get here. Let me tell you the difference between being a winner, a loser, and a survivor. And the only reason I'm telling you a survivor is so when you start slipping off, telling you what is to be a loser, so when you slip off the survivorship train, you know to get back at least on that so you can get back to being a winner and thriving. I was blessed to have that. And my dad was not perfect, right? No, he was not perfect. I did have that though. So then you can do that for yourself. You can do that for other people. And when you're doing it for yourself, what would you tell somebody else? Because Marcus is telling me I'm dope. I don't necessarily feel dope. Well, what would make you feel dope? And that's where deeper really gets powerful. Because that becomes your new dream and the things that you're going to do in your plan for the year that you execute, so that when we come back on December 17th, 2026, you're like, yo, I took a chance on me and I made it happen. I went deeper each day. I went deeper each week. I went deeper each month. I had new dreams and was engaged in them this way, and I had great environments around me, and I did a plan that was written, and I executed, and I reflected on it at the end of the day. Marcus, that's a lot of, yeah, man. How's the other way working for you? Not doing it, not looking at your calendar, your most important budget piece, not surrounding yourself with people who are worthy of your time. I had a conversation with somebody last night, and I was like, you know that there's a point at which people aren't worthy to be around you. Like they did not earn the right to be in your standing. I can't go as you know a lawyer. No, just any lawyer can go and argue in court. And then when you start going to federal court, you have to have standing to be in that court, and the case has to have standing. And then to argue in front of the Supreme Court, you have to have standing. So we do this for other things outside of our bodies and personal experiences, which, by the way, were modeled after our personal experiences in human life. But we're not going to require somebody to pass a test to be in my life. Oh, you just happen to be at the bar or the club or at the school that day, and we must have something in common. Well, Marcus, does that mean we need to do checklists? Yeah. You're saying I need to do a checklist for the people that I have in my life? I want you to say that again real slow. And then I want you to deal with it, right? Why would, like, do, do I need a checklist for the people that I'm going to have in my life? You can say it one more time. Are you saying I need to have a checklist for the people that I have in my life? And finally, you need a checklist for the people that you're going to have in your life because you are worthy of nothing but the best. The best that fits with whatever the best is for you. And it's not being traumatized. It's not putting people in your life that require you to run around crazy and people please. It is people that put energy into you, not suck it away from you. We talked about this last week in Chasing the Equation. If you start out with you and you have negative other you know whaters, right? And you end up with a negative number because the negatives are bigger than the positive that you had in yourself, whose fault is that? Well, it can be lonely. Well, if I had the choice of being lonely and where I've been on the other side of grief because I let the wrong people be in my life, you can give me lonely all the time. I'll go play some golf. I can play my piano. I can learn something new, something. But you are worthy to have that. You are worthy to take care of yourself. You are worthy to have dreams and goals. And hey, you don't get to come play with me. As a matter of fact, if Marcus is that biblical, how would Jesus feel about that? Well, God didn't let a certain group of people in for 40 years on a journey that would have taken a week, because God was like, "You're not worthy of the promised land." So if it's good enough for God, it's good enough for me. And if it's good enough for me, anything I can do, you can do better. So, we're going into the hour mark and I'm going to start wrapping up. But a couple things that we talked about tonight, and maybe we'll keep this going because there are other components of it that I wanted to go through. Um, Number one, when we come to reflection, we come with no judgment. We come with no comparison, and we're in no rush to fix/refine it because you're enough and you're dope. And if you need somebody else to come and tell you like, yo, you're dope, I am letting you know you're dope. Then number two, um, looking at the questions and not asking yourself, what did you mess up? Or why didn't I do more? Or why am I behind? And you reframe those into ideas of like, what did I carry this year? Where did I show up where no one clapped? Where did I show up where people clapped? And where you showed up where people clapped. I'm going to challenge you to the idea that that might just be your clan and the people that you need to be trying to figure out how you do more with them. And it may be one or two at a time, but hanging out with people that clap for you is much better than hanging out with somebody that puts a foot in your behind. Yet some of us choose to do that. I'm letting you know, stop. I mean, at the end of the day, stop. What happens if you just stop? Well, you don't understand. Okay. Still, you need to answer my question. What happens if you just stop doing what you're doing that is leading you to where you are right now? Well, I just had this belief that I should be here and here and here. Okay. Why don't you change your belief? Well, is that your belief or somebody else's belief? What is your real belief? Because if it's your real belief, then we can come up with a plan to get you where you need to go. That's no problem whatsoever. But then also, I do feel that sometimes the universe is like, I'm trying to tell you and protect you from yourself. You really don't want that. You really don't want that person. You really need to be over here. You need to be at the place where the people clap for you when you show up. That what how have we gotten so dysfunctional that that is the crazy thing to do. That is the abnormal thing to do. Be with people that love you. Oh man, she treats me good. She treats me great. Nah, get on my nerve. What? And you know what I'm talking about, and you know you've done it yourself. At some point or the other, how did we get there? Nah, that's not how we're going into 2026, you all. We don't flow like that. Things are for the love of, and for the love of us. So, use this objectively. Go back in your calendar. Look at your calendar. Yo, if it's Adrian, yo, Myra, hey, this is what I did on my calendar last week. This is what I did last quarter. This is what I did over the summer. What did you like? Go back over your pictures. That's another like objective thing. Because sometimes I'm moving so fast, and then I go back and I get the Google memory, and you get the Google memory, and then you're like, oh my God, I did that. Gets you back to the point of like, I'm dope and I do dope shit. And then it's also objective where you're like, God, look at my face. That was horrible. Note to self, I'm not going to do that again because I don't have to, because I love me, and it's okay for me to be the only person that loves me. Screw everybody else out here. I'm going to be okay. Because when I love myself in a healthy way, I guarantee you I'll find places that when I show up, people clap. Not that I do it for that, but I am in the right places at the right time. Therefore, when you look up and you see that, you know your clan. Um, and I think that having compassion for yourself is not having complacency for yourself. I did my best, man. Sometimes that's the answer. Sometimes I did my best is the answer. Because I can't ask you to do any more than that. I may ask you to reframe some other things. Like if your best in math is this, then unless you do a lot of hard work, you're not going to be able to get to this level on these other things. But that's okay too. Maybe you're not the executive here. Maybe you are the director here. And maybe you find something else that you like to do because the world is changing. If you saw Game of Thrones, winter is coming, right? AI is changing things. Machine learning is changing things. And those of us who understand how to negotiate that stuff are going to be the ones that win. So start dibbling and dabbling in it, maybe even with you on your reflection phase. Hey, I like these things. What could I do? Just try it. Go to ChatGPT. You can get a free version. I mean, I think Google basically Gemini is cooked in the Google. Anyway, ask it. I'm this type of person. Knowing what you know about me, what do you think I'd like to do? Some of you all are on Copilot and things like that at your offices or Google Workspace. It comes with Gemini. Hey, I'm this type of person. Or you can read my emails. What am I not doing right? Use this stuff while we can so that you can get where you're going. yet have compassion for yourself as you do it. Not disdain, not comparison, not judgment, frigging love. Because I'm going to tell you this, right? I got love for you. If you need, I have some of you all who hit me on the side like, yo, look, I appreciated this, what can we do, et cetera, et cetera. I'm telling you, I had a rough day today. And, it's been a rough week, and I have 6 more big performances coming up, and we're going to get some videos on those too. But, like, I'm tired, man. I just got back from a 10-hour drive from Atlanta. Before that, going to Charlotte, or no, to High Point, because we drove past High Point to go to Charlotte on Thursday, and then from DC and being in LA last weekend to like now, and like dealing with the stuff I dealt with today. Oh my God, what a day, man! But I did my best. I'm gonna be okay, and I'm still here, and I'm still here for you. And together, man, there's nothing. There may be right now, and it grows. It's gone from 2 to like 20 people watching across the different platforms right now. I know that's how you go from 2 to 20, 20 to 80, 80 to 640, and then it keeps on growing and growing, because I know that I'm speaking love to you, and in a way, hopefully, that it seeds within you the love that you have for yourself, and re-putting back together, remembering who you are and what you are out here, using a model called Deeper, where you dream it, you get engaged in it, you have a fertile environment in which you plant it and around which you plant it. You put it in a written plan that you execute. And on December 17th, 2025 and beyond, that we go out here and we reflect upon it. So, I'm here for a couple seconds. I hope that you all know that you can send me comments. There are comments in there. I see you, Myra, from YouTube. And she said that she is retired and working on some new goals. I love that. And whatever we can do, remember the Deeper model, right? But go back, look at what you did, look at what you're doing, and then where do you want to go? And somebody may say, well, you don't need that, man. I'm reading a book called 10x is better than 2x, meaning 10 times the results is better than 2 times, or is easier than 2x. And with that, the whole idea is there's a point in there where it's like, what do I need to do? This ain't about what you need to do. This is about what you want to do. Well, you don't need that. Did you hear what I said? I don't care what I need. This is what I want. Marcus, you don't need to fly an airplane. Cool. See you later. Hey, Marcus, you should go and get these other gigs from so and so and so and so. Now I'm going to promote my own. Well, why would you want to do that? You enjoy your way over that way to the promised land. I'm going to go this way. I'm going to go the 7-day way. You can go the 40-year way if you like. Right? And man, like literally, like I said, man, this should be a fun year. But I'm here for you, Myra. I'm here for you, Elle. I'm here for you, Adrian. Also, Craig. I appreciate you. And see, is there anybody else? Couple of people checking out. Paulette, I think you're on LinkedIn. I don't get LinkedIn posts here, but I saw somebody commented on this as well. So there was a quote in here that I'll probably read a couple times. Soft but strong. If all you did this year was survive, you did something extraordinary. You're not late. You're not broken. You are becoming. Rest is not quitting. Reflection is not weakness. And grace and compassion are the strategy. I'm going to read that again. Soft but strong. If all you did this year was survive, you did something extraordinary. You are not late. You are not broken. You are becoming. Rest is not quitting. Reflection is not weakness, and grace and compassion, that's the strategy. That is the majority. I love you. I love you. I love you. Always do your flow. We'll be back here next Wednesday. You can always hit me up, whether it's on YouTube in the comments. I think we're going to spend some more time with this and doing reflection. And, if you have some other topics that you'd like us to discuss, let me know. These could get long, I can see. And at some point, I'm going to start having possibly some guests on here too. Um, so we can talk about, get other people's perspective on it. And don't forget, the book is available on Audible and on Amazon, For the Love of Living the Journey of Life with Intention, Love, Passion, and Happiness. And I had my friend and one of my mentors, Sheila Johnson, who did the foreword for that. I will be at Busboys and Poets this weekend if you're in Washington, D.C. And then in Baltimore, I'll be Keystone Corner the 23rd and 24th to bring in Rudolph and the Reindeer. And then 2 weeks, I'll be in Norfolk at the Church Street Jazz Festival. So please be in touch. Let me know how you're digging it, digging the flow. The professor has been in. Reflection is a key component of going deeper. Always go deeper. You're worth it. And I love you. I love you. I love you. And always do your flow. Take care, y'all. God bless. Give you a little preview of what we're gonna do. Y'all wanna hear that? Let's see what we can do here. A little which one is this? Was the week before Christmas, and it's time to flow. Join me, Marcus Johnson, at Busboys and Poets as we flow into the holidays with a special feel-good holiday concert series designed for family, friends, and togetherness. For years, we did this celebration at Blues Alley, and now we're excited to continue the tradition in a new home, Busboys and Poets, where community, culture, and connection are at the heart of everything we do. This is a family-friendly event filled with music from our holiday albums, soulful favorites, and that warm energy that reminds us what this season is really about: being together, slowing down, and sharing joy. December 19th, we're at Busboys and Poets Shirlington, and the 20th and 21st, we're in Hyattsville. And because the holidays are so much better when we come together, we're offering a family discount of 20% off all tickets when you purchase 3 or more. Just enter family, all caps, at checkout. The discount will automatically be applied. So come celebrate the season with us. Music, family, love. This is how we flow through the holidays, and I want you to come flow with me. Welcome out to Busboys and Poets Columbia. I can't wait to get out there and perform and pour the wine. I love it. Yeah. Let's do it. That's how we flow. Have it.
It's a lifestyle.
Amen.
Yeah, keep up to that. I love you, babe. Yeah.
We ain't playing around, y'all. We ain't playing around.